Hi everyone, this is my AEP 879 practicum final presentation, spring 2014. See my table of contents there. Those are the 9 basically areas here that I'll go over. Personal introduction. This is my 9th year teaching. I spent 3 years at Arc City High School, 2 years in Emporia. This is my 4th year at Hayes High. I'm a social studies teacher here at the high school. I currently teach world history and government, which world history is a freshman class, government is mainly seniors, obviously. So I kind of have both ends of the spectrum. Besides those 2 subjects, I've also taught U.S. history, sociology, economics. I'm also certified in PE, but I don't really have a lot of experience teaching that, even though it's on my teaching certificate. I've been married for 5 years now. My wife and I have 2 sons, Brock and Brant. So we're getting to the point here where we're going to be sending one to school here before too long. Besides teaching, I'm also involved in coaching. Over the last 9 years, I've coached anywhere from football to basketball to wrestling. I've also coached baseball. I'm the head Legion coach here in Hayes during the summers, which keeps me extremely busy over the summer months. Pretty proud tradition here. We've been fortunate enough to win the last 2 state championships with the American Legion, and we've been able to go to New Orleans, Louisiana, and Little Rock, Arkansas for National Legion tournaments. So something that hadn't been done here at Hayes since I think 1981 was the last time. So being able to do that the last 2 summers has definitely been very rewarding. Right out of high school, I went to Kansas State University for a couple of years. But like I mentioned earlier, coaching is something that I'm really into, and athletics was something that I was really into as well. So I ended up transferring to Kansas Wesleyan. I was able to play football and baseball there. That's where I received my bachelor's degree from, and got my first teaching job at Arc City right after that. My goals in my graduate work. 2 years ago when I started the program, my anxiety level was definitely high. I didn't know really what to expect. The way I planned my time back during my undergraduate work was probably not as good as what it should have been. So I had some setbacks. I struggled a little bit with my undergrad, and I think I had some people that maybe didn't believe in my ability. So it was a big step for me to start my graduate work, and it's been very rewarding. I'm a believer that you never stop learning, and I felt like it was time for me to kind of practice what I preach. And I believe that gaining my graduate degree or my master's degree will benefit myself, obviously, but it'll also benefit my family, and by being able to maybe provide more. Even though being a principal really isn't something that I've 100% decided on yet, I think over the last couple months during the practicum here, I think that itch has kind of grown on me a little bit more. I think that it's a position that I could see myself in, and something that I probably want to try and take on here in another year or 2. The last thing, finally, I started the program to get a better understanding of the profession. Throughout the 9 years, I kind of understand how the classroom works, how students work. I kind of want to be part of the decision making, though, about our school and our district and how we operate on a day-to-day basis. And once again, I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of want to get into it. There's my philosophy statement. Major objective for my practicum here. When I first started, I really wasn't sure what to do, but it became pretty obvious to me early on that I needed to focus on the financial aspect of this. All my activities in some way involve money, whether you're talking about a sporting event or whether you're talking about buying textbooks or technology for the classroom. Here in USD 489, we've had to cut almost 20 staff. A lot of those have been through resignations and retirement. However, there have been all non-tenured people. I shouldn't say all. A lot of non-tenured people have been non-renewed, and we've had a couple tenured teachers that have been non-renewed because our district is facing a $1.3 million deficit. So unfortunately, our Board of Education has had to make some pretty unpopular decisions, but with school finance the way it is right now in our state, and bad decisions that our district's made over the last decade or so. There wasn't a whole lot of options, unfortunately. Activities log here, Facility Needs Committee. Once again, this relates directly to my major objective, in that a lot of our buildings, a lot of the infrastructure within the buildings of our district, whether you're talking elementary, middle, or high school, there's a lot of needs that need to be made, and that's kind of what this committee did. At one point in time, they're going to propose a $100 million bond issue to make necessary improvements to the schools. However, I think that's kind of on hold right now, simply because of all the other financial shortcomings that our district's facing. And with the bond issue, it would have to be voted and passed by the voters, and I don't think the committee feels like that's something that would happen right now. Worked a lot of wrestling tournaments, district board meetings. Obviously, a lot of those focus in on the financial aspect. I went to one board meeting here that talked where they had the audit. The auditing company was there and gave a report. Basically, they found that this year, contingency funds this year, we're going to be short almost $200,000. So there's a lot of, early on there's a lot of ideas of how to make up that money. Cutting teachers, cutting coaches, custodial staff, energy conservation, 403B. Unfortunately, once again, there's a lot of cuts being made in our district right now. Some other activities, district in-service. I worked with Eagle Communications, which is a TV and radio broadcasting company here in Hayes, broadcasting sporting events. Able to take part with IEPs for students, students that had been here in our district and our school for a while, and students that moved in for the first time. They're able to sit down and talk with our school psychologist about what her job is, talk to her about 504s and IEPs and working with outside agencies. Marsha Fox, a Kansas curriculum specialist that specifically focuses on social studies, was able to come and meet with us as a department. Gold meetings are basically monthly meetings that we have during our plan time, where we're able to go over shortcomings, achievements. If there's any instructions, for instance, this gold meeting focused in on pre-enrollment for the 14-15 school year. Counselors were able to go over how students will do that, what we as teachers need to do to make sure students can do this smoothly. Kindergarten roundup. Obviously, I have a kid that's going to be entering kindergarten next year, so I was able to do some of those activities with him, which was nice. There's no zoning here in Hayes, so you're able to choose a kindergarten that you want to go to. So elementary schools have their roundup night, where basically they try and recruit people to come to their school. I was able to interview the athletic director. There's another Board of Education meeting, once again focused in on financials, and that's kind of what I focused in on as well. Family night out. Here's one of the multimedia things that I got. This was once again a way to promote the elementary school and promote physical fitness and getting families and kids together. You can see here, this happens to be my son rolling the ball down the lane. Thought it was going to be a strike for a second, but ended up being that there was one left. So you can see that he was he was a little upset about that, but probably gets up for me. Some other activities here. Site council meeting is a way that community members can basically come to our school, and our principal can share what's going on. Fort Hays State's represented. Chamber of Commerce was represented. There's a lot of different business owners that come. Basically, once again, it's a way that everybody can kind of communicate and be on the same page and see what's going on in our building. I worked a lot of basketball games. Anytime there's a home basketball game, freshman, JV, varsity, or combination of, I worked those. Sometimes around the clock, sometimes just help supervise. IEP, I was able to sit in on an IEP for a kindergarten student, which was interesting. I never had done an IEP at that level before. Spring sport meetings, it's a way that coaches, once again, kind of set the tone, expectations for their program, kind of let parents know ahead of time what's going on. I think it alleviates some problems down the road. Sub-state sporting events, we hosted some, but in basketball anyway, and there's some different rules and stuff that go along than just regular sporting events. Like, the gate, a certain portion of the gate goes to Acacia and all those things. So anyway, it's a little bit different. Another Board of Education meeting here. Department Technology meeting. We have one-to-one laptops for our teachers and our students here in our building. With budget issues, once again, that might be something that goes away. So that's kind of what our technology meeting was about. I was able to actually interview here at Hayes High. We had an opening for athletic director, assistant principal. I was actually able to get one of those interviews, which I didn't really think I probably had an extremely good chance of landing that position, but the interview was very worthwhile and definitely gave me experience for maybe another interview down the road. Family Fun Day, I have some pictures of this. That was held at the Hayes Mall. Basically, kid activities, way for parents and kids to get out and interact with one another. Hayes Recreation Commission Little League Soccer works very closely with schools in promoting physical fitness, especially at the elementary level, because there's not a lot of activities for that level of student. Here's some of my digital media pictures. The Easter picture there is part of the Family Fun Day that I was just talking about. There's the bowling, little kids soccer. There's that video again. I won't play it again, but that was the Family Fun Night Out with Lincoln Elementary. A lot of the sporting events, wrestling duels, basketball games that I've worked. There's some of the agendas and minutes and excuse me, preparedness, and I mean a lot of the paperwork and stuff that we get to that I've gotten when I've been doing these activities. There's some IEPs for certain students. There's kindergarten roundup, going over like school safety there with tornado and fire drills and evacuations and those sorts of things. Entering into my practicum, I wanted to gain a better understanding of the day-to-day work of an administrator and really focus on that to decide if that's something I wanted to pursue. It was my belief that administrators follow these ISLIC standards and always present, and that ISLIC standards are always present in every school-related, and everything school-related are constantly being reviewed so that all students in our district benefit. My actual experience met many of the prejudgments about what administrators in our school do. Administrators are the ones that push, model, plan ISLIC standards in our building. Every decision that is made, thought about, or implemented is done so with the best interest of students involved. Adhering to ethical standards, community needs, wants, and political contexts are all taken into consideration when decisions are made. In our district, money is a big issue. That is not only affecting our budget for upcoming years, but is also affecting the best interest of students. Decisions are being made that are unfortunately necessary, but are taken away from the effectiveness and efficientness of how we as a district educate our students. The question is, how can we move forward in our district utilizing all community resources and stakeholder input to progress our school when money is pushing us toward regression? One of the positive factors about working in this community is that the community as a whole is very well off. We don't have a ton of low socioeconomic students, even though that number has risen. Even though we are losing about 20 FTE certified staff, our district still wants to do what's best for students. Our academic and athletic booster clubs go out and raise a bunch of money. And as I mentioned before, I've kind of been on the fence as to whether or not I want to be an administrator, but I think this experience has kind of pushed me into maybe trying to pursue that a little bit more. Throughout my practicum, I felt myself not only gaining a greater knowledge about leadership, but I've also found myself generally becoming more invested in leadership and how decisions are made, focusing on ISLIC standards during activities I completed gave me guidance on how decisions are reached and how I would respond personally. Here's my bibliography. And summaries, I guess, of those as well. And finally, there's my signed evaluation sheet by Mr. Marty Straub, who's the principal here at Hayes High. Thank you.